Big changes coming to your 401k. I just can't take it. Oh my goodness. So here's CNN. Can I get rid of this other ad thing here? Hold on a second. How do I get rid of stupid Bright House? I don't want Bright House. Hold on, let me find out. I'm not sure how to get rid of this ad. So, oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So CNN says big changes coming to your 401k. Nicole Goodkind from CNN Business. Let's read who Nicole is. I haven't looked at this, so we're going to look at it together, shall we? And I don't know who Nicole Goodkind is. She might be a nice person. Senior markets report at CNN Business. All right, let's see her full bio. She focuses on global macro trends. She was a previously writer at Fortune, covering government, politics, and business. Prior to that, she was a reporter at Newsweek and a reporter for Yahoo Finance. All right, so at least she's been, and she's a graduate at Cornell, where she studied industrial and labor relations. All right, so I got no problem. I mean, this piece is silly, but I'm going to share with you that I'll show you the silly parts of it. But a lot of these writers you hear on Market Watch and stuff, literally just the stork just brought them, if you know what I'm saying, and they're writing about financial planning. Crazy. All right, so let's read this. The first thing should jump out at you. All right, the United States is on the brink of a retirement crisis. Says who? Teresa Girageldi? She's a freaking idiot, man. Says who? Alicia Munell. She's been saying this since almost 20 years now, and yet we're not there. It's kind of like the global warming. When are the ice caps going to melt? When are we going to be under a foot of water in Miami and New York City? It never flipping happens. But Josh, don't you know there's big sections of the ice cap melts that are breaking off? It happens all the time. It's been happening freaking since the beginning of mankind, or the beginning of nature, if you will. It comes back. It ebbs and flows. Imagine that. The global warming period, the little ice age, the medieval warm period, all that before we were friggin' putting CO2 in the atmosphere. These people just drive me up the wall. I can't take it because it's so idiot. I'm going to read you another thing from another right-wing blog later on today. The nuts. The people are freaking, it's all part of the same cabal. All of them. I cannot stress enough. You start reading enough of this, you start saying, are these people just that dumb? Even the guys on my side, are they just that dumb? I kind of think they are. All right. So let's read this, because the first thing that just comes out, there's a brink of a retirement crisis. And the primary savings tool for Americans, your 401k, isn't helping. Okay. By the end of the decade, 21% of the country's population will be 65 or over. All right. Most non-retired adults have some type of savings, but only 36% think their savings are on track. So basically, we're saying there's a retirement crisis because most Americans think their savings are not on track. Was that 64% think their savings are not on track? Why did they think that? Well, let's take a look at this article that she talks about. What the hell is this? It just takes a stupid calculator. I don't understand. This doesn't confirm what she said, that only 36% of Americans think their savings are on track. It just takes us to this calculator. Okay, well, that's big fat stupidity. All right, I don't understand what the hell is that? All right, now Congress is looking to help. Oh my goodness, there comes the government. I'm here to help you. A new bill expected to reach Sniffy Joe's desk by the end of the year could require most employer-sponsored retirement plans to enroll their workers automatically. I thought we already did this. Making it easier for student loan borrowers to save and for older workers to make catch-up contributions. All right. What was the security? Retirement savings in the U.S. was long thought of as a three-legged stool, a Social Security defined benefit and your own assets. Who thought that originally? Where did that come from? Well, the Social Security Administration had written that a couple years back. I mean, when I started, but who came up with that idea that retirement savings was a three-legged stool? Your pension, your Social Security, and your own assets. Who came up with that? Do we have any evidence that have long thought of this, other than the Social Security in the old days used to say that? It's just don't rely on Social Security as your primary source of retirement savings. Other than that, who came up with it? It's nuts. I'll tell you why it's nuts. It's freaking idiotic that we have this. Again, this is the languaging. See how the languaging gets twisted over the time? Remember Ed McMahon? Did he work for the Publishers Clearinghouse? Yes, he did. You know it. I know it. But they're trying to say he never did. That's all we're just making it up. No. They're changing the past. That's what's happening. I don't know how they do it. It's crazy. But they changed the past. You know, Ed, and I know that Ed McMahon was with the Publishers Clearinghouse. We all know this. But now if you actually look into this, they're saying, no, he never did. He was with American Family Publishing. And you're like, I know that's not true. It's the same thing here. They're changing the past to make you confused. There's no other way around that. And people fall for it. I get it because people are just lazy. That's why you're here, though. So you don't be lazy. So I'll tell you. All right, so all right, pension plans are nearly extinct. So this is where it gets kind of funny. About half of private sector workers were covered by those so-called defined benefit plans in the mid-'80s, where only 15% are covered by them now. So the minute I saw that, I said, that doesn't, because I did some research on that when I wrote my book, You Can Retire on Social Security. And it's interesting, too, because what I found out actually corresponds to what her own link is. And if which you click on this link, it'll take you right to here. The disappearing defined benefit pension and its potential impact on retirement incomes of baby boomers. This is from 2009. All right, that was 13 years ago. And they cite data from the Center for Retirement Research in Boston College from 2009. The disappearing benefit of defined benefit pension, your pensions, DB, defined benefit plan. But so check this out. I want to show you something. So remember old, what's this chick's name? Nicole Goodkind. And we're only in, the third paragraph now? She says pension plans are nearly extinct. About half of private sector workers were covered by those plans in the mid-'80s. I said, that's not true. So let's get rid of this one. 1 second. There we go. We'll come back to this one right here because I want to show you. I'll prove it to you. You ready? Well, check this out. The very second sentence right here, from 1980 through 2008, the proportion of private wage and salary workers participating in defined benefit plans fell from 38% to 20%. Again, this is 2009. 38% is significantly lower than what Nicole Goodkind said here, which is about half. I mean, it's not about half. And this is just a private sector too, by the way. It wasn't about half. Hey, Finney's back because we just got back from Cancun. They love. Oh, yes, I know, baby. You just love seeing your pops back, don't you? So it's completely, so here's two links she provides. Neither prove what she's trying to say, but because they have an underlying HTML hyperlink, people say, oh, this must be all kinds of citations. It must be true. It's not. It's complete bullcrap. In fact, we can go to my book. Right here from my book. But the majority of private sector workers never had access to pensions, even in the heyday of the 1960s. Never did the majority even have access to pensions. And even with the workers who had access, how many stayed at their jobs long enough to benefit from the pension? Tell me, would you rather be the guy who is owned by his company and goes there every day for 30 years to manufacture widgets in order to potentially have the benefit of a pension, or someone today without a pension but with a much more vibrant economy and the freedom to engage in whatever you want to do with the portability of your 401k plan? That's from chapter 12. What was the chapter called? What savings prices? The whole thing is friggin' fake as the day is long. And I hate it. So many things. The green energy crap. We're all going to be speaking Russian or China or Mandarin. The whole thing's nuts. All right. Social Security payments will still. All right, let's see. Right, here we go. More fear-mongering on the Social Security Trust Fund. The Social Security Trust Fund is facing a 75-year deficit. Well, we've known that for freaking day one. It's going to have to be fixed. You can do it how? Raise the payroll tax. 0.5 of 1%. For 25 basis points on each side. Done, and we are done. All right, so check this out. But the Social Security Trust Fund is facing a 75-year deficit, and without intervention, it'll be depleted by the mid-30s. Depleted. That means there's no money for Social Security. No, that means they'll have enough to pay about 78% of promised benefits, and that's through till 2092. And if you just read Dan Rostenkowski, look him up, Dan Rostenkowski. I'm not going to show you the video because I'll get trademarked, whatever it's called. Yeah, trust me, they're not going to not pay your Social Security. All right, 68% of private industry workers have access to a 401k, but only 50% will use it. All right, well, that's still a pretty good turnout. So if you look at 68% of private industry workers All right. We divide 18 by 68. That means 74% of the people with access to a 401k are still using it. That ain't too shabby, my friends. In fact, I would argue a good significant amount, if not a majority, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, I don't feel like researching it, of people who had access to a pension never got a penny from their pension. I bet I could easily find that out. I just don't feel like it. All right. All right, then we got this guy, Jonathan Barber, who's with Goldman Sachs. He never thought it'd be anticipated that the 401k would be the primary leg of the stool, or Social Security would be the primary leg of the stool. Yeah, it wasn't ever anticipated. And going back to my book, You Can Retire on Social Security. Why is the Social Security taking over so much? Well, let's just look at the taxation of Social Security, shall we? Because it's nuts. So when Social Security was first signed into office in 1935, the first year of taxation was in 1937. Old age survivor disability income. You paid 1% of your taxes. Right? Rate for employees and employers each. You paid 1%. All right. So you paid 1 and your employer paid 1. 1% of your income to Social Security taxes. Fast forward till 1968, that's 30 years later, you pay 3.8% of your money to Social Security. That's it. Fast forward until after 1989, you pay 6.2%. So no, it hasn't been. It is now, and the reason is because we pay more and more into it. This is the whole thing. So it's not a welfare benefit. It's an entitlement. You pay it. It's your freaking money, man. Oh, by the way, there's no HI hospital insurance back then either. So just as an FYI. So you had no OASDI, HI. All right. Old age, OASDI is old age survivor disability insurance. That's your Social Security benefit. HI is hospital insurance, is part A of your Medicare benefit, by the way. All right, let's keep going. Let's see, the tax breaks. All right, so naturally the 401k appears as a savings vehicle. Americans are bringing more money. So it rewards those with more money because it gives them a tax deduction. Hey, man, I'd get rid of tax deduction. No qualm with that at all. Let's get rid of them. Say, all right, let's make it even, Steven. We're not going to give anybody a tax deduction. I get it. Let's make that because you're going to see they're going to hang you later on in life when it comes to your retirement savings. When you have to pay taxes. And what does that do to your Social Security? Oh, it makes Social Security subject to taxation, whereas previously would not have been if you didn't have to pay taxes on your retirement money. I talk about it here. I'm going to do another book. I'm fired up. After going to Mexico for a couple of days, I'm ready to do another book. All right, so again, less than 40% of lower paid workers have retirement accounts. All right, well, because they're lower paid, and they're getting by day to day. They do have retirement accounts called Social Security, and a lot of them are going to rely on Social Security for a significant source of their income. That's just a fact. If that's you, that sucks, man. I don't know what to tell you. But the vast majority of Americans, that's not. That's just a fact. All right. The tax breaks for the retirement savings, i.e. put money away to a 401k, expects to cost the government, see, this is where the CNN can kiss my big fat behind, $200 billion. That's not the government's money. It's our money. That's our money, you freaking fool. It's our money. We're the ones who got the tax break, and we're the ones who pay the taxes because we're the ones who earn the labor. It's our money. It's not the government's money. Us retaining more of our money is not taking from the government. It's the exact opposite of the way you should look at it. The government getting $200 billion is them taking from us. All right, still there's one solution. Congress thinks there's a solution because Congress will always solve it. This goes beyond the Secure Act, by the way. All right, automatic enrollment. It would be the largest change to the 401k. Would require employees to automatically enroll their eligible workers at a savings rate of 3% of salary. Okay, whatever. We've talked about this a million times before. A 2012 study cited that the most dramatic increases in enrollment are among lower paid individuals if it's automatically done. Okay, whatever. I mean, you can do that. It's fine. Pre-retirees save more. Older workers who are between the ages 62 and 64 can increase or catch up contributions up to $10,000. That's all good for me. But these contributions would be taxed as Roth contributions. So it would be post-tax, which 100%. I got no qualm. Get rid of all tax breaks. 100%. Make your freaking taxes like a postcard, as Dick Armey used to say. File it. You made this. 25% if you're in a certain amount of taxable income to the government. 10% if you're not. Done. Everybody move on. 100%. All right. People generally earn more as they age. And people in their 60s are typically earning more than they spend. By the way, did you know you can still contribute to Retirement accounts, it's called a brokerage account, but it's not a retirement account. And if you're not spending it, and now you're spending it when you're retirement, I call it a retirement account. There's no earnings limits. There's no one to say you can't do that. You don't have to be employed through your work. You don't have to be employed at all. You just contribute to a brokerage account or a bank account. Anyone can do that. Stupid. All right. Let's see here. Paying off student loans. Okay, that's fine. Delayed mandatory withdrawals. A lot of people get all freaking, they go, oh, this is great. I hear this all the time. I said, okay. Why would you wait until you have to take required distributions out anyway? But whatever. Americans are retiring later and living longer. It's actually not true. It's not true that Americans are retiring later, Nicole Goodkind. Secure Act lifts the minimum age at which enrollees must begin withdrawing their money from 75 to 75 from 72 as it is now. So your RMDs will be 75. That allows for 3 additional years of tax-free growth. Tax-free? Tax-free? Or is it tax-deferred? Big difference there, Nicole Goodkind, between tax-free and tax-deferred. The penalty for those who fail to withdraw, I cannot believe that people don't see what's happening here. The penalty would be halved from 50%. All right, so the penalty who failed to withdraw their RMDs from their account after 75 would be halved from 50% to 25%. So you don't have to take your RMD until you're 75, and the penalty is only 25%. Can no one see why that? Even Finney's like, look. Finney's like, oh my goodness, these guys are stupid. Not my audience, of course, but just the people who fall for this stuff. Don't you see? Because there is a 10-year mandatory distribution for non-spouse beneficiaries. So of course they want you to take it out, don't take it out, because they're going to get it on the back end while your kids inherit the money in their primo working years, or they're paying the most taxes. I cannot believe people can't see this, but they can't because they just can't think. I'm sorry, people can't think. And we know this for a fact. There's lots of studies of college professors say, I got kids in here who just cannot think anymore. Scary. So, if you don't have kids, who cares? That's great. But then why do you care anyway? Why would you care about when you got to take the mandatory distribution out anyway? Why not just go spend the money? Because you can't take it with you when you go to your great reward. So why do you care? If you have kids, do you not see what they're setting you up for? So frustrating. Part-time works to contribute, or whatever. Additional provisions. All right. There you go. All fake. Not fake. Look, if you want to withdraw your money at 75 as opposed to 72, more options are better than less. I'm all for that. If you only get 25% hit on your RMD that you miss as opposed to 50%, hey, I'm all for that. And if you want to add contributions and you have to pay with after-tax money, you can already do that. All right, love to hear your thoughts. The government's going to save us.